everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Surgecast. Joining me, of course, it's just me and Zach tonight.
Woo!
But everyone's so busy talking about the trade deadline, all this stuff going on. So we thought maybe you just want to hear from us. But yeah, there's a lot going on. How you feeling, Zach?
Doing good. This feels like the longest week of my life, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, I mean, working 8 days in a row, and of course the trade deadline coming up and stuff like that, and just it never ends, Kat. It never ends. But how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm always good when there's a Canes win during the week.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I try not to, it does affect how my week goes. Well, I will say it doesn't fully affect the whole week, but if like the day, depending on how it's going, a win is always more helpful than a loss.
And then how depends on how the next day it basically transitions to the next day of like, how's the game? How's the day after the game?
Yeah. So, doing pretty good. Started a new job this week, so very tired, but loving that hockey is back. So I have like something regular and routine, and then a new job. So it's back and forth with that. Thank you. But there has been some fun little things to talk about, as well as with hockey comes back, so does all of the talks and speculations and all that fun stuff.
Fun.
I know the first thing we need to talk about is, listen, guys, the Canes are becoming a successful hockey team. Hockey does belong in the South. With that comes some changes. We did see, there was that report where other teams and people say they don't really like coming to Lenovo. It's not their favorite place to come to, not just because the Caniacs and how loud it is, but it is like it's an outdated place. As much as I love it and it's familiar, if anyone who's listening has gone to see teams play at other arenas and stadiums, like it's different. So upgrades are needed, and so I know a lot of Caniacs are very excited to hear about the Lenovo renovation, and now we're getting some updates on it, and there's some mixed reviews, which I feel like you're just gonna have to wait and see how it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, renderings are one thing. I mean, it's probably not the final product, but you're kind of seeing what the goal is going to be. I mean, like you said, Kat, I mean, it's been since 1999 that this arena has been in works. I mean, it's one of the oldest ones in the league. We're not going to every team. It's not like you're going to be like we're like the Red Wings, or you're going to be the Kraken, or you're going to be Vegas, or insert team here who gets a new arena or gets a really nice polished one. Like, you're renovating a very old building. Like, the building is just as old as the team is, basically. So yeah, you're gonna have to get some updates done. And is it for everyone? Probably not. I mean, I know a lot of people are gonna go there for the hockey, but you also got to realize too, this is also affecting NC State. So you're gonna have to also talk to the NC State guys as well, like what they want, because you can't garner to just one entity that's in the building. So yeah, maybe the bunkers aren't going to be it. Maybe you're taking out some section. You're like, okay, well, that's less seats. Our price is going to go up, and it's like, well, I mean, that's just that's the thing of welcome to professional sports, especially with, like you said, a successful team. Things are going to have to change to get done. Is it for everyone? Probably not, but at least we know we're going to get a nicer, newer Lenovo Center in some aspects. So I want to see what's done in person first before we start making judgments like, oh, this is going to stink, this isn't going to be fun. It's renderings, very different from what the real thing is going to look like.
So the first couple of things that are going to get changed, a lot of the things I talked about is going to be what's going to be happening on the ends, like right behind the goals. With some of those is, I know the big buzz for everyone is those bunker suites, and everyone's like, why am I going to a hockey game to then stay in and watch a hockey game in there? Our wonderful intern, we did talk through this a little bit, because I also was one of the people like, okay, I'm going there to be the atmosphere that if I wanted to stay in and watch, like I'd stay home and watch it. He did like to point out that while the renderings did show the big image on the screen in the bunkers is the Canes game, if the game is going on, yeah, maybe you'll have a TV in there. Like if you look at suites now, there's TVs showing the game. So if no one's out exactly like looking out on the ice, they can still, like, they're getting food, they can still see the screen, and you still have all that access. But maybe not all of these are playing the Canes game. Maybe they have other things going on, other big games that are playing in there. And while it's like it's a hospitality suite, it's premium to like host and like talk with people, maybe for business, make deals, all of these things. So yeah, you could step away in there and do that during like intermission or something. But these bunkers also have access to go out and watch the game. So it's a little bit different than the suites we have now, but there is a point to it. It is supposed to feel very like a little more exclusive, a little more bougie. So I know
also
a lot of
open
people
to, it's like you said, like you can go out and watch it up there as well. It's like they're standing room. So
yeah. And again, it's like a very similar to the suites we have now, just a little bit more enclosed, but also that means it's a little bit more private. And again, very exclusive, bougie club, blah, blah. Like it's Lenovo Legends Club. Like it's supposed to be high end like that. So I know a lot of people in the 300s are not that excited because it's taking away those cheaper seats to then put in something that's probably going to be a little bit more costly. So I do feel for you on that. But there's also some really fun things though, is that there's going to be a state of the art view bar. What else? I know that the restrooms are getting a refresh. There's a new grab and go concession space.
yeah.
I'm excited to see new things. And honestly, I don't get up to the 300s enough because sometimes I go up there, I'm like, I'm so not used to everything that's up there. And I'm excited to see a refresh, especially after I've been recently went to the Blackhawks game, and it's just everything. There's so much there.
Well,
And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
the United Center is huge. Like, yeah, I
it's
mean, you're
huge,
talking
but like
the Hawks,
there's so
the
much to
Bulls,
offer,
yeah.
and like it's so like there's so many people there because it's huge. But I never felt as claustrophobic as sometimes I do trying to walk through Lenovo just like to get to the team store. It just feels very like small walk through. So whatever changes come, I'm just excited to see something different. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult to see all of the like seats go away, prices go up, but I mean, that's the price you gotta do for your team being successful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for fans, it's like the price you pay to be supporting your team.
Right. I mean, because you're talking about, yeah, you're gonna lose some sections of the 300s, but it's open to fans. You're getting, a bunch of different things. You're getting, you're still gonna see the ice perfectly fine. And in the thing with the bunkers and the view bars in the 300s, the bunker is gonna be in the 100s. So, it just depends on how you want to do it. It's like, are you going to be down there a little bit closer to the ice in the bunker area, or you want to get the views up top? So, at least it's open to fans. It's just a different experience. It's over 200,000 square feet of different type of things that you get to do. And I don't know, like I said, everyone has been talking about, like they want bathroom updates, they want locker room updates, they want the area around the arena to get updated because it's just a parking lot and you have to drive far to go get the stuff. Now it's like you're adding a whole different thing around it. You're adding, restaurants and hotels. Now instead of having to go into downtown to sleep and go to a game, you can be right there. So yeah, is it going to be for everyone? Probably not, but you're bringing in other type of, people, other type of events, stuff like that. And like I said, we've all needed, everyone's talking about this needs to get renovated. Here's your renovation, guys. Unfortunately, hockey is not the only thing at Lenovo Center that's going on.
I am really excited. So as I mentioned before, the Lenovo Legend Club. So with the Lenovo Legend Club, it will feature the arena's most premium food and beverage and a nice entertainment setting. So it'll have all you can eat food stations, a full service bar, exclusive to fans with seats in the first and second rows off the ice, as well as rows C through E in certain sections. And those bunker suites we talked about.
That's not bad, honestly. For
I honestly kind of like.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and I honestly kind of like the view bar, because how many times have I been like, maybe it's during intermission, and then the game starts, and I'm like out there chatting with like people, then we might not be sitting exactly together, but I'm chatting there, having a drink with them. And I feel like I have to rush to the seats because there's nowhere to really watch the game unless I'm at the seats. Cause like the screens around, like, yeah, but you don't really want to be there. But to be standing there having a drink with your friends at the view bar, like that does sound really fun. Like it sounds like, you're at the arena, but you're also, it's like you're out at a watch party.
Yeah. I think it's more of like a socializing thing. Cause I know, I mean, my baseball team, the Guardians, they are also renovating their stadium too, and they're opening up more view bars as well and more social areas to interact. Because I mean, Kat, we're diehards. We're going to go watch the game, but maybe there's people who aren't really into, they're not as into the game as we are, but maybe they want to go and watch hockey. Maybe they want to socialize too. It's just another aspect of you're bringing in casual fans. I'm like, hey, let's go to the game. We'll go to the view bars, have drinks, eat food. Oh, there's a game. Let's watch it. Maybe that turns them into more hardcore fans. So it's kind of, it's helping the fans who are already there, give them a better experience for them, but you're also bringing in the casual fans who could become more than just casual. So it's kind of playing into a bunch of different aspects of it's a hockey game, but you also can be social. So
yeah,
it's playing into a bunch of different aspects. So
yeah,
I want to see what it looks like in person first before.
I'm excited about that. I mean, listen, I know the renovation is going to affect me when it comes to parking, and I know this is going to affect other people when it comes to seating. Like it's those growing pains, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I know, you can see the renderings and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this. So that's fair. That's fair. I mean, and I know some people's season tickets, like their seats will be gone with this renovation. So I feel with everyone being like, wait, change is coming and I signed up for change, but this isn't the change I wanted. I understand that. But unfortunately,
we fear change. We fear change.
Unfortunately, it's happening. I mean, I just think that means it's, it's such a positive sign for the team that unfortunately, even though I hate the change to things around me, I'm going to put up with it because I'm like, this is the future. Like we're getting there one way or another.
I mean, think about it this way, Kat. Would you rather have your team, evolve and change and update new things, or do you want to be a fan who's afraid your team might be gone because there's no change and there's no getting better? That's the kind of thing to look at. If you want to get better, if you want to make more money and be better, sometimes you got to make changes that, help that team grow and evolve in certain aspects. So it's just how you want to, I guess, if you want change, if you want newer things, stuff's going to have to happen. And here's the stuff that's going to happen.
So looking forward to seeing more when it comes out. I'm excited for things to just get started and to see the changes because I feel like we've talked about it for so long.
Yeah. Plus, Doug and everyone at the Hurricanes are going to do a fantastic job with this. Mm-hmm. I am not even concerned because this. We've talked to them enough.
Well, I'm not worried about, especially with Doug at the helm, because he's so about community and so about the fans. I don't think he's going to make anything to make things so inaccessible to fans or to be too exclusive. Just seeing what he's done so far, seeing what he's done in the past, and speaking with him, I think he definitely has the fans in mind. And again,
because he is
this is like you said, it is, and like you said, like it's a joint effort. Like yes, it's the Canes, but there's other players and that are in play that have to make all this stuff work. So it is a team effort to make all this stuff work. So
yeah.
So that is super fun. Fun things to look forward to. A thing that's I'm looking forward to being done.
I am so
and
over it,
you know what? Every year I look forward to it being over. And this year, surprisingly, even more so, the trade deadline. I'm very tired, so I don't know if I will go into a full in-depth of this as I normally would. But listen, we have asked the Canes to do things at trade deadline for so many seasons, and we have now done something before the deadline, and now we're still asking them to do something at the deadline. But I don't think it's going to be a big move. Again, I don't think it's going to be a big move. Because we've done our big move. If it is if we do something, I don't know what we would do. I'm in between predicting we don't do anything or we do something that no one sees coming, but is a piece that actually fits really well and is in our budget and everything.
Yeah.
I do not see us doing anything with Rantanen. Listen, guys, listen. There's a lot of noise going on in the NHL about the Canes, because the Canes have made this big splash with getting Rantanen. And so we are the talk of the town, which is wild because, I mean, somehow this is more of a talk of the town than Ovechkin scoring, which is wild to me. But we went from, oh my gosh, they just dropped this bombshell. They made this trade. Wow. Like, look at what's happened. The Canes really did this. They're all in, and they were praising us for it. And then there was the slump with the flu and the Four Nations. And he's played just a few games, and the Canes are kind of struggling to, they're fitting in 2 new guys. And yes, we've fit in new players before, but those new players aren't the caliber that these guys are that have, like, Hall is adapting. But Rantanen has played 10 years on the same team in the same style. Like, it's so different for him. And so it's like going from like 10 years in public school to all of a sudden you're in, or other 10 years in private school, and all of a sudden you got thrown into public school, and you're like, wait, what? How does this operate?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And so now, then, of course, right after that, the media was all about, well, now we're going to compare this. And is it going to be like who won the trade? And as it continued and the Canes struggled, they were like, wow, this deal really didn't work out for them. It's like, really hasn't had time to do anything. And you continue. And now they're like, well, they're going to do something. They're going to flip them. They have to flip them. And you know why they're saying this? And a lot of the other teams are loving that they're talking about it this much, because the other teams are the ones reaching out, and they're like, hey, if the media is saying you're not reaching out, like, can we get him? Like, if it's not working out, that's what the media said. Can we get him? And like, also all of this noise saying the Canes are going to flip Rantanen and all this stuff, that's probably also getting to him. And you think that doesn't like kind of be like in his head, like, oh gosh, am I going somewhere again? And like, he just went through this, like, for not a lack of a better word, traumatic big move to a team across the country.
Yeah.
And now you're getting, okay, well, does this team not even want me now because I've struggled? And that might, like, I think other teams are thinking, well, maybe that'll influence him not to sign with the Canes. If they're thinking, well, they don't even really want me that bad, which is crazy because the Canes
offered him a deal.
They don't do these big moves, and they do this big move, and you think they're just going to give them up for nothing. Like, why would you give up these players, even if they're players that want to leave, all this stuff, just to turn around and flip someone for? There is no one out there right now that you would get that's a good enough return for what you have given up and what you would give up in Rantanen. Like, it makes
it makes no sense because, Kat, so when they play Boston Thursday, you know how many games that's going to be with Rantanen and with the Hurricanes?
Like
13. 13 games. Mm. Well, he did miss a game because he was sick, but he's played 13 with the Canes. But regardless, he's like, at that point, that's like a 10-day tryout for a guy of, oh, do we send him back to the juniors or do we keep him like Seth Jarvis? It makes no sense to make this because all we hear, we talked about how many episodes ago, what do we always hear? Hurricanes need a superstar. Go get him. All right, they don't need it anymore. Let's flip them to someone else. And it's like, and they're like, oh, they're actively, they're kind of asking around to see who would want them. Like, the Hurricanes are not, who's saying this? Who in the Hurricanes is going to say that, oh yeah, we're going to shop this guy that we just gave up Natchez, Jury, and 3 draft picks for? Absolutely no one. It makes no sense. It is so bad it's bad roster management, because why would you go give up all those assets to just flip them for 13 after 13 games? And who are you going to get? There's no one available that's going to be willing to give a guy up that's going to match what Mikko Rantanen is. Mikko Rantanen is a top 15 guy in the NHL. He's one of the best power forwards. And he's got 6 points in 12 games. Like, give the guy a break. Give him a chance to at least fit in somewhere, because he has to have the same line mates. Yeah. Like I said, everyone's been struggling. The Hurricanes, you can't just fit into a system like that fast. Yeah, Taylor Hall maybe a little bit more because he's been in that 15,000 different positions. It's I am so sick and tired of every other day having to see Hurricanes might be flipping them. Hurricanes are doing this. What's going on with Rantanen? What's going on with this? I'm like, I am so tired.
Imagine if you were Rantanen. I'd be tired of it. I just want to play hockey. I just want to play hockey.
It's and the thing is, like, oh, the Hurricanes might flip him. They offered him a contract. Well, he didn't accept it because he hasn't had time to think about the contract. So
the new thing too, yeah. And if you watch him in recent games, you can see he's getting his groove. You can see he's celebrating with the guys. Like, he's starting to really get
over 30 shots in 12
more
games.
And more like team mentality. It takes a second to warm up to your new team. And so now the new thing is, of course, we have like, okay, well, they might flip them. All these teams are checking in on them, all of that stuff. So the new news is that the Canes are, checking out, seeing what's out there for the offer. Okay. So, and they're saying if they don't like the offer, they can still keep the winger and make a run, but they have to open the door and we'll see where it goes. According to multiple sources, Carolina are doing their Mikko Rantanen due diligence, checking out potential returns as either a rental or with an extension, assuming he's willing to sign anywhere before July 1st. Okay. So,
all right, from who?
Wait, I know you have so much to say. Guys, we have seen how Tulski works. Also, even before Tulski, when we had Waddell, the Canes were always in the rumors of trades and potential players. The Canes love to talk with all the teams and just learn. Like, we love to have all the facts and learn all of, like, okay, what are you willing to give up? Okay, maybe we don't like that. Are you sure you want to give this up? I have this to offer. But they're never like just talking and seeing what's going on that's just smart hockey sense. Like, it's like, and smart business. Like, you have to know what's going on around the league, what people are want to give up, what they're willing to like give to you, because that's like, think if you're playing a game of Monopoly. All right. Think about it. You have all these pieces and you have people being like, hey, can I have this piece in exchange for this? Maybe you're like, I'm never going to give this piece up. Like, there's nothing I can think of that will make this a good trade. But you're still going to hear the person out. You're still going to hear all the stuff going on because it's savvy. It's like it would be dumb to just not listen to what's going on around the league. And we've seen the pictures of Tulski on the computer. Like, he is nonstop, like, all right, what's going on here? Let me get all the numbers. Let me get all the data. It's smart. Like, it's so smart to just be in the talks and talk about it. That doesn't mean you're going to do it. And a lot of people are like, well, this means the Canes are really not they don't want to keep them. Like, why would they even entertain it? It's like, because you have to know what's going on. It would be dumb to just be like, close your ears and go, la, 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 we're going to keep them. They don't want to hear anything, because you have to. There's so many trades we've been said that we were a front runner in and then we didn't do anything. And you know why? Because it didn't fit what we wanted, or it wasn't like they wanted something we didn't have, something we didn't have or didn't want to give up to them.
Right.
And it's not just because the Canes, it's not even like showing interest. It's just showing, I want to know all of the details before I commit. That's reading the terms and conditions of all of the things before you commit to whatever it is.
Well, yeah, because you have to keep relationships go with other teams. You have to just go like, oh, what's up? Click, and like
the Canes have the upper hand right now. All teams want what the Canes have.
Yeah.
You're going to entertain them. You're going to listen. You're going to like, okay. And then you're also going to be like, hey, if I did, like, they have said that a lot of teams reached out to the Canes and said, hey, are you shopping them? So is it really that dumb? Like, maybe they're like, we're not going to talk about this right now. We'll get back to you. And now it's close to the trade deadline and they're reaching back out to these teams that have already shown interest and just being like, if I did, what would you offer me? Doesn't mean I'm going to commit to it. But what do you got? Because I have the upper hand right now. I don't have to do anything for you.
Right. Exactly.
I want to know what you'd give me if I did.
Right. And this is the thing for me. And of course, thanks to our paid intern, Elliot Friedman, who has been spearheading this with Drager and Johnston and everyone else, mentioned 3 teams. They're believed to be very, very interested: Toronto, Dallas, and Los Angeles. Here is my thing, Kat. Who is Toronto willing to give up? Who is Dallas willing to give up? Who are the Kings willing to give up? Because I'm sorry, I don't see who's on the Kings that's even remote. Adrian Kempe is good, but I'm sorry, is he Mikko Rantanen? I'm also not really sure about that.
Zach, as you're the Monopoly money guy, what is the cap space for these teams?
Sorry. So for the Carolina Hurricanes, the last time I am checked, I'm going to check right now, actually, $499,000, and this is going to be their deadline cap. $499,077. So that's the space they have. The projected cap is over by negative 984,000, but because
yeah.
of the fact of building current cap space,
And
yada yada yada.
one of the things for
That's
the
what Carolina
Canes
is sitting at.
And one of the things with the Canes with Rantanen is that we are able to give him a good offer and a lot of money because we have money to do so. If we're talking about these three teams in the Kings and Toronto and Dallas, what did they have to offer him?
So Toronto projected cap negative $2.5 million. Their current cap space $101,000. So you're going to try to find out. So because they're all talking about, the Hurricanes might retain half. I'm like, okay, they're going to retain half of, his contract of, I think it was 4.5, if I'm going off the top of my head. There's no guy on the Maple Leafs that is going to make this trade any possible that's going to make sense, because guess what? All of their really great players, Kat, 10, 11, 11, $13 million. After that, Max Domi at 3.7, David Camp at 2.4.
I want Domi in exchange for Rantanen.
No, that's what I'm saying. Matthew Nyes is under $1 million. Nick Robertson. There is no guys anywhere in that facility of Rantanen as you can get from Toronto. So, all right, let's go to Dallas. What does Dallas have? What's their cap situation like? Oh, okay. Projected negative 2.4. Their deadline cap space cap. How about $4.5 million? So it possibly is doable. But who is remotely available that the Hurricanes could possibly get? Well, are the Stars willing to give up Jason Robertson and his $7.75 million contract? Probably not, since he's probably one of their best players. Rupe Hintz, also no, $8.4 million. Mason Marchment, 29. I'm not sure, $4.5 million.
And it wouldn't be a 1-for-1. Rantanen is not a 1-for-1 player, unless like Toronto, it's Matthews for Rantanen, maybe.
Yeah, or if you get Marner, and then you have to know Marner's going to he's going to sign there for the same amount of money, or at least around that range. All right, let's say Maverick Bork, Riot Johnston, maybe Logan Stankoven. All those guys are making under $1 million, and they're 23, 21, and 22. And guess what? They're all right shot centers, according to Puckpedia. Is Dallas giving them up? I'm not sure. And are they his level? Probably not. Jason Robertson is probably the only guy in that realm at 25 years old at $7.75 million. So maybe, but I'm not even sure if Dallas is willing to do that. All right, let's move on to the LA Kings. Who would they possibly have that could make this work? So their current projected cap, $799,000. So they're the only team out of the three that's in the positive for their projected. Their current cap, $3.48 million in current cap space, since their deadline cap got cut short by the projected cap. Guys who could be available, well, Kevin Fiala's 28, $7.8 million. Hanze Kopitar is 37. Quentin Byfield, 4 years, $6.25 million. He's 22 years old. I don't know. They really like the kid. I don't think they're going to give him up. Adrian Kempe is 28 years old at $5.5 million. Is he at that level? Probably not. Let's see. No on Trevor Moore, Warren Fogle, Tanner Jeannot, Alex Lafreniere. Lafreniere is under $1 million at 23. I don't think they're going to give him up. They like that kid. Alex Turcotte. I'm just saying, even if they go with defense, Jordan Spence, Brayden Clark, I don't see where any of these three teams, Kat, make any sense for the Hurricanes to go and get them. Yeah, the Kings probably have the best overall cap space wise in terms of money that's available. Dallas has a better overall deadline cap, but who are they going to give up that's even remotely to where he is? And the thing is, the cap goes up next year. The Hurricanes don't have space to go take a half of a Robertson. They might get Robertson if Dallas takes half, or whoever, or it's just.
It's also interesting because I just don't see a reason for the Canes to do it. I know a lot of people are like, well, it'll look bad if you lose another guy at the end of the season. Gensel didn't want to be here, and we didn't have the money to keep him. Like we did, but we didn't like it was going to be a lot more of us finagling to try to get him the money that he wanted.
Seth Jarvis might not have gotten his contract if we signed Gensel.
It was very, very different. Here we have the money for him. Not a lot of teams have this big deal that he wants. But also, why would I love this is why you can't trust anything in the media, is because there was even someone saying that Carolina's and the Devils were talking. There's no way that Carolina would give a division rival this player. Like, there's no way. There's no be like, oh yeah, like we wanted him for playoffs, but here, let us give him to you so you can kick us out of playoffs. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But
for the sake of just this ridiculous argument of the Devils, let's see what they're at. Okay.
Now they have LTIR and Hughes, so
their LTIR pool
for them.
It very so their LTIR pool because of Hughes, $13 million. Their current cap with the deadline minus the projected cap, they're at $1.8 million. They basically had to take part of Trent Frederick's money to send him to the Oilers, who they got for Shane LaChance, whoever that guy is. Okay, whatever. So, sorry. I don't think they're going to give up Nico Hischier for 7.25. I don't think they're going to give up Dawson Mercer for 4. They're not going to. Jesper Bratt, very much doubtful. They really like him. Timo Meier, too much money. Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, what Thomas Tatar? No, 1.8. Nathan Bastian, Curtis McDermott. I mean, there's no one else. I mean, there's no one on this team that, if it was Jack Hughes, not going to happen, but that's the only guy I can even remotely think of that's even within the range of a zip code that can get to him. Yeah. There's no one in the Devils. Like you said, it makes no sense. Yeah, let's just send you to the team who we're probably going to face in the first round and, face this guy. Sure, that makes so much sense. Are we really working in reality here?
I know that one was really far-fetched, but that's my example of you see a lot of the media talking, and you shouldn't believe everything because they're going to hear whispers. They're going to have, but there's also going to be projections. There's going to be things that teams want, but that doesn't mean it's realistic. And a lot of people are saying, okay, so losing Gensel and then potentially losing Rantanen, what does that say to the guys? What does that show to players around the league about who wants to stay with Carolina? I don't think that impacts it. From the amount of players that we have seen come to this team or been traded in or choose to come here, and they're saying, I came here because of the locker room, because of the coach, because of the way the players, how open they accept me so quickly, and we haven't had a lot of locker room drama. I think that still speaks volumes. Yes, everyone has their players are going to have their preference on where they want to play. I mean, you even have the Rangers are doing some different. They're looking to shop some of their players, and their players are like, I'm not even going to Canada. It's on my no trade list. So players are going to have their preferences. If it's not Carolina, that's okay. Some players aren't going to be here, and you're like, okay, but those are two superstars that didn't want to play here. Gensel was always a maybe, and then he chose to go to the state where he didn't have property income, something with tax.
State tax.
Yeah. So that was his that was a big deciding factor. Okay. Rantanen's interesting because there were some talks, if you look at I love Kaplan's report. If you go look at what she did in her report, it's so much more level-headed. But guys, the Canes do their due diligence. They had to have known that Carolina, it has Aho on it. It has one of Rantanen's friends and teammates at one point. So there's inklings for him to want to be here. Well, we're not on his no trade list. And also, if you're well, he's not going to sign with Carolina. He want to go somewhere else. What other places? This guy didn't want to leave. His intention wasn't to leave Colorado. So I don't think he has any team in mind. Foremost that he's oh, I really want to play for this team instead. I think any team, he's going to need time to really warm up and be yeah, this is who I want to be with for another long term. It's more favorable for Carolina to have him now and have him get used to it than any other team to offer it, because Like, he doesn't have any experience with them. He doesn't have any connections to these other teams. So
in that same article, I think he would say that he was interested in Carolina. So it's like it's not like he's fully out. And the thing, like the Hurricanes, it's like here's the offer. It's just an initial offer. This is a starting point. Let's build off from it. He didn't say no. He didn't say yes. He wanted to take the time. The Hurricanes said they want to give him time. So it's just, that's what I said. I don't see where all the speculation was the Hurricanes are going to trade him. They're going to think about flipping him and all this other stuff. Like, there is no one in this league that's going to be worth it, because here's the thing, the cap goes up next year. Even if the Hurricanes go trade him to Toronto can only take half of a contract. Let's say if it is a Mitch Marner. Where are you going to find you're going to have to move another contract off the Hurricanes to fit his whatever. I think his deal is what, $10 million. You got to fit $5 million. And Mikko's is not $5 million. So where you're going to have to figure out how to do a little bit more cap manipulation to fit a Marner from Toronto. But there's no one else. Who else is available that you can get for a 1-for-1, or it's a multiplayer trade? I don't see the Hurricanes blowing up a trade for a 13-game rental.
Yeah, and you want, like, you don't know what Rantanen's thinking. Maybe you're having some ideas of which way he's going or not. But with this run, the team went all in on this trade because they want to run at playoffs. Why would you not?
He's a playoff guy.
Why would you not keep a playoff? Yeah. Why would you not keep a playoff guy around for playoffs? You don't know for sure what he's going to do after it.
Yeah. He's one of the top 5 guys in the playoffs every year.
This team doesn't do this team. Like, their mentality is all in. They invest a lot in their players. And like, you can be like, well, what about Natchez and Drury? We invested a lot in both those players. Both those players also said they wanted to try something new, and now they're flourishing somewhere else. It's not the Canes gave up on them. They just also were like, hey, you said you wanted to try somewhere new. This team is interested in you. Makes perfect sense. It's not giving up on a player. If anything, Canes give a lot of second chances to a lot of players because they have such a team mentality. I mean, we even had before he was assigned to the AHL and he's like out of contract and everything. But Lemieux literally said, I want to be here because of this coach, because of this team, even if I'm not playing that much. That's not even the case for Rantanen. He's going to be playing. He's got, like, the team wants him here. Like that, they are so invested. What message does that send to your locker room if you're like, oh, you played 13, you're a great player, but you've played 13 games. There's all this adversary. There's all this stuff going on while you're here working with the team, learning the team. All this outside factors have affected, but you haven't performed what you had right before this. So we're just done with you, and we're going to see what else is out there. That's so not the Canes style. And if the Canes do it, it's going to be very out of character for them. And it's also, I mean, maybe they'll make me eat my words, but it's so out of character for them, especially depending on what you would get back for this caliber of player.
Exactly. And here's the thing, guy. Like, he averages 19 minutes and 44 seconds a night. Like, yeah, maybe it's a little bit less, but it's not 17, 18 minutes. Like, he's actually getting proper minutes and stuff like that too. And you look at his advanced stats, it is above. It was more than he was doing in Colorado. It's just the puck's not going in. If the puck was going like 3 more inches to whatever direction, he would have like.
Hey, but we got the defense. We got the defense starting to get back into their groove. We've got the Jordan scoring. I mean, guys, you stick to it. Things might, starting to change it. But
other predictions? No, I don't see any other.
I don't have any predictions. If we acquire someone else, the Canes are going to go out of left field, and I'm not going to know what it is.
Bring back Morgan Geekie. Yes,
but listen, we can talk about Rantanen. Like, everyone can have their thoughts about him. I want him to stay.
Staying.
I think he's staying.
Give him the money. Back up the Brinks truck and give him the money.
We'll see where it goes. If we also think about it, guys, when we had the talk about Aho when he had to sign his deal and Jarvis when he had to sign his deal, none of them signed right away either, even though we knew for sure it was a done deal. So just keep in mind, I know we're really impatient. Every day's a good day to sign Rantanen. The offer is out there. All right. Give the guy a second to breathe.
Hey, Kat, what's 2025?
The year of optimism.
Stay optimistic, guys.
Stay optimistic. And listen, one game at a time. That's all we can do. But
yes, please.
Speaking of one game at a time, a really fun game that's not really Canes related. You saw some of the Canes repping the gear a little bit. I think for the Edmonton game,
Calgary.
I think they were Calgary. They were repping some of the gear coming in, but the PWHL is coming to Raleigh this Friday night. So that's super fun. The two teams,
Minnesota Frost and the Ottawa Charge.
Mm-hmm.
I would know because I'm a Frost fan. So woo! I wish I could be there, but
okay. Should I? So I should cheer for the Frost. I'm going. I just didn't know which one to cheer for. I was honestly just going to see some
I
good
would
hockey.
say the I mean, they got Kevin Cloyd Schofield in the team. They got Taylor Heisey, who was the first overall pick ever in the league. I mean, they got a lot of good players. Goalies are really good too. The dark purple with the lighter purple, kind of pinkish, like the color combinations are just fantastic.
I saw
and the
there was
logo's
the
dope.
first a fight in the women's league.
Do
you know who that was between?
Was it New York? Was it New York and Ottawa, or was it New York and Toronto? I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. I mean, they're still throwing with gloves on because they're wearing cages. But yeah, it was the first fight in the league. But yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, they throw some hits. Like, it's not light touches. Like, they throw some bodies for sure. So I mean, it's fun. I really enjoy it. I'm a big fan of women's hockey, and like I said, I mean, if you're looking for two teams to watch, Minnesota and Ottawa are definitely good ones as well. But yeah, they got really good players on both sides. Leagues are a lot of fun. So like I said, the color combo for Minnesota and the logo is just absolutely fantastic. You cannot go wrong with purple and lavender and the whites, or just the dark colors. Plus the logo is sick. It's an icicle F. Like, how can you not love that?
If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I think there still are some, but they're going to face off. Yeah, the Ottawa Charge and Minnesota Frost will face off this Friday, March 7th at 7 p.m. And honestly,
for the PWHL Takeover Tour. Yep.
Yeah, it's the 9 regular season games of the PWH Takeover Tour will be contested in a variety of locations, and I love that Raleigh is one of them.
Yeah, and the fact that they also have a lot of open skates too for kids to go and learn and hang out with the players and stuff like that too. So they're really growing the game in a good way, because they've done it in Seattle, they've done it in Detroit, they said they're down in Texas, they're going to be in Raleigh. Like, for the fact that the Hurricanes are able to get the PWHL in the barn, it's really cool to see. The fact that they're even opening up more avenues for kids to learn and interact with the players and grow the game. I mean, hey, who knows down the line, PWHL in Raleigh? Who knows? I mean, heck, we got an NWSL team with the courage. Why not bring women's hockey down here to Raleigh? That'd be sick. I would have no problem with that. So I would say if you want to go. It's a lot of fun. I love the league. It's fantastic. A lot of great hockey players. I mean, couldn't pick two better teams to do it for. And like I said, biased, but Minnesota, I hope they won because.
Yeah. So if you don't have enough hockey with all the hockey we have this month, go check out the PWHL this Friday.
Why not?
Maybe I'll see you guys there. It's going to be
awesome. You got Boston Thursday night. You got the PWHL Friday night. What a great back-to-back of hockey at Lenovo.
Back. Camp out at Lenovo. Let's go.
Why not? Just have a little bonfire out in the parking lot overnight and just be ready for the next night. It's all right. It'll work out. They'll understand.
Yeah. So while you guys check your schedules and see if you're going to come to the game on Friday, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back talking about more Canes hockey.
It might not feel like it yet, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through the closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boost, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's just that easy. Hey, the big tournament coming up, the Masters here in April. Right now, Scotty Scheffler plus 350 to win the tournament. Look to get in on that action. And here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
If you're looking for another local sponsor for our podcast that has been around for quite a while, I think Zach's got a few things to tell you.
I mean, Primo X Hockey only has been our OG sponsors even before episode 1 back in 2022. Cat, we are now on 3 years with Primo X Hockey being one of our main sponsors, and cannot say enough about those guys. If you go to PrimoXHockey.com, go to checkout, use code TheSurgeCast, you get 20% off your order, and they also got free shipping, and they also get internationally too. And the thing is, they are open Monday through Saturday, occasionally on some Sundays. But the good thing too is, $5 skate sharpenings. If you need to get your skate sharpened, go check them out. They're at 1401 Diggs Drive, Suite E, 15 minutes from the arena. Basically you're helping out fellow season ticket members for the Hurricanes. And like I said, just a great group. If you're looking for sticks, indoor, outdoor pucks, tape, laces, they even got really sick merch too. We're talking hats, flags, t-shirts, koozies, whatever you can think of, man, they got it, and so much more. I'm just glad they've been with us for this long. I can't believe it's been 3 years, Kat, that we've had Primo X Hockey.
Honestly, the paid intern and me are going to try to get some skating under our belts, because we eventually maybe want to do a beer league. And I said
they do sell skates there too. So
yeah,
hey,
so I know when we're finally going to be getting into some of that stuff, and we need a deal, and we need a local, we're going to Primo. So
well, the thing too is, like, they actually have an in-store. You can go to their store too. Like I say, if you go to 1401, get your skate sharpened there. They have an inside store. Let them know that you heard about them through us at the Surgecast. Like I said, they've been with us for 3 years now. Great group. They have a lot of great stuff. Like I said, you got stick tape. They got laces, skates, sticks, helmets, anything you can think of. They pretty much got it there. And they've been doing it all the right way. So, yeah, basically, just go check out Primo X Hockey. Shop local, support local, and you're helping out fellow season ticket members. Why not? Why not? And big thank you to those guys for being here with us for so long.
Yeah, and then, of course, I want to remind, I said it at the top of the show, but I also want to do a reminder, is that we now do partner with the NHL Shop. And guys, there's a bunch of fun things. I mean, you've got the Four Nations gear. I know the jerseys are a little much, but if you're looking for a t-shirt, a hat, anything that fits your fancy, or hey, maybe you have Christmas money left over somehow, and you want to splurge a little bit, or it's someone's birthday gift and you do want one of those awesome jerseys, I definitely do. A Jarvis Canada jersey would be. But also, if you have fans of, some of the stuff for the Stadium Series also is really awesome. Unfortunately, they don't have like the Red Wings helmets, which I think is the coolest thing. But if you're looking for anything throughout the year, it could be for one of these big events for the NHL, or just throughout the year, you want some more gear. If you use our link for the NHL Shop, you're helping support your favorite podcast, which we really appreciate. Guys, we really don't do this for anything except the love of talking hockey. Yeah. But if we had a little bit of help on the back end, is even more fun talking hockey. And honestly, it's not anything different. You go to the link, it's just like normal ordering. So yeah, help out your favorite hockey podcast. All right. So again, we always want to thank our wonderful sponsors. They keep helping us do what we love to do, and also, great deals for all of our Caniacs listening. Again, if you've got any fun, there's lots of sales going on from now that we're post Four Nations. We're technically post the Stadium Series, and oh my gosh, what's the other one? The other outdoor one?
The Winter Classic?
Yeah. We're way post that. I've already got this for sale stuff from the Winter Classic, but if you guys are doing, if any of the merch that you were eyeing has now gone on sale in the NHL, again, we always like to say, if you want to use our link now that we are a NHL Shop affiliate, tease and thank you, support your favorite podcast while getting merch that you love and you were going to get anyway. We really appreciate it. Anyway, love to plug that. we got to talk about the games. We've had 4 games go on since we talked last. Crazy. I mean, but that's
welcome that time of year, a game every
welcome
other
to
night
March.
at this point.
Welcome to March.
Yeah.
So starting out, we'll talk about Buffalo and Carolina. Finally snapped that losing streak. We didn't think it could get any, worse. You had to beat Buffalo. Again, Canes fans are getting a little wary, especially since the first time we saw Buffalo with that 6-0 loss. But it was Whalers night. So we're typically pretty successful on Whalers night. And it rang true again. Honestly, the vibes were high. The building was buzzing.
Just very
KK started out hot. Everyone was like, the Canes don't really throw hand. They don't have a fighter. KK said, bet, and came out swinging. Love to see it.
I like how he's like he's like yelling at the bench, like he's like, "Let's go, boys!" And he's like firing up the crowd. I'm like, KK.
I will say, as we talk about these games, KK has played so well, and I was so happy to see the most recent game with Detroit. I'm so happy to see him get moved up to that second line where he belongs. He has played responsibly. He's made plays happen. Dude, the buzz cut, he's dialed in. Full dialed in. From that fight on, he has been dialed in.
Hey, well, we always say, Cat, Jordan Stahl 2.0, that's the type of player he's going to be, and he's definitely going to be that.
Well, we say Jordan Stahl 2.0, but like Jordan doesn't drop, like he doesn't do that drop the gloves at the end. So that's KK kind of, and that's KK taking on a role of his own, which I love to see as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What a night though.
It was buzzing early. The Canes went up 2-0 pretty quick.
Yeah.
You get this captain coming in clutch, and then you've got Aho assisted by Mr. Rantanen himself. So you've got connection going on.
Right. And then
we finally get a power play goal by Mr. Trade Talks himself again.
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't want to stay in Carolina. He's just not fitting in well. But yeah, he gets a power play goal, no big deal,
Which is nice because it's getting Ghost going as well. Ghost gets a point with that.
Ghost has been running. He's
Ghost
been running.
Getting moved back up to power play 1 has been so much better. So much better.
Ghost has been feeling it since the Buffalo game, that's for sure. Like he was kind of struggling since coming back from his injury, but since Whalers night, Ghost has been spooking a lot of people in the last 4 games. So,
and then so Buffalo does get a goal, but you go in and you get another contribution from another new guy in Taylor Hall.
One away of your first game. One away of your first goal as a Hurricane on Whalers night. What great pass by Jack Roslovic. Like my goodness,
good things happen when Roslovic finally passes the puck.
Hey, maybe pass more often since you only have 2 goals since the turn of the calendar to 2025. Pass the puck some, bud.
Sitting on 99 goals for quite a while.
2 goals in 2025. Maybe we start getting some assists there because at this point,
yeah.
But what a great pass though. That was fantastic.
You got another superstar coming in, finishing the night out with an empty netter with Jarvis, and really it just the crowd was going. Like that was one way to be like, listen, we know we've got on these skids. We know we're struggling, but they came back and they played for the Caniacs. They played in the Whalers gear. They felt it. Like it felt like a great night for hockey in Carolina. And I felt like that was a great refresh for the guys.
I mean, they're 5-0-1 now on Whalers night, which is great to see. I love the 90s like edition, like the fact that that teaser video of all the guys like with the really old school cell phones, playing, N64 and all that stuff. I really like too, like the NHL 94 graphics of the fact they had like the 2-tone colors with the team names on the ice and just like the score bugs and all that on the Jumbotron. Love the 94 NHL theme. Absolutely fantastic with the 8-bit, doing the computer screen graphics and all that, and just it's just what a way to make it so perfect.
I will say for anyone that if you're going to take someone to their first Canes game, you don't get to a lot of Cane games at home, Whalers night is always a great one to bring someone to for that.
How about the Zamboni? How about the Zamboni too in the Whalers colors? That was Absolutely
popcorn
sick.
Zamboni.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, the popcorn Zamboni, absolutely sick. That was
Yes.
awesome. I mean,
So
I do you know there's gonna be some people that have like all 3 of those editions of those popcorn bucket. Hey, can't blame them. I wish I did because that would be awesome. Hey, let's go watch hockey out of our popcorn Zambonis because why not?
But yeah, so the Canes are buzzing then, and honestly, since then, I feel like it's kind of changed for the Canes. I mean, I know. Listen, we're gonna go into this next game. We're against the Oilers, and yeah, it's a loss on the sheet. I don't really think it's 3-1. It really is 2-1 in my opinion.
Well, 0.6 seconds left. I mean, technically it was a 2-1 game. I know it's going to say 3-1. It's just one of those things where you couldn't get puck luck, unfortunately.
Yeah, you didn't start playing the best, and you go down 2-0. Honestly, the first goal was really off. The first goal really sucked because the Canes actually were playing. I thought they were playing good. They really had the pressure on, and then you give up that shorthanded, which is kind of like kills you a little bit.
That was the backbreaker.
Yeah, it kills you a little bit. So, and then of course, I mean, the second one, the pass from Draisaitl to Perry, like that's just a great goal. That's a goal that's going to happen. But if you didn't have that shorthanded, it's not going to hurt the way it does.
Well, the breakdown, the defense to let Perry go to where he was to go to back door, that's kind of brutal. You should have picked him up coming off the bench, but
yeah. So, it was an interesting game because the Canes, like they did their normal thing where they pushed back, and they really did have a good pushback and fight. Yeah. They got another power play goal. You got Aho, Rantanen, and Ghost getting in there again. Honestly, any power play goal at this place.
Calvin Picker was just, well, for whatever reason, unreal that night. So I mean,
but he wasn't unreal that night. We had so many chances. And I know, like, listen, the Canes, like, do I think their push was a little late? Yes, they needed to have that third period push earlier in the game. I full-heartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
Can I also say that some of the officiating was questionable? Hell yeah.
Very questionable.
So there were some icings where Jarvis had a full stride on the guy and they called it icing, and that's wild. And there was just some calls where it was just like, if this is that kind of, like, it was a 2-1 game, but it was like even when it was 2-0, it felt like a closer game. And to have those ticky-tacky calls, it's like, why?
Yeah, it was.
Why?
It was. I don't think it was bad as Calgary's, which we'll talk about here in a little while, because that just got absolutely outrageous with all the penalties they had. But yeah, it was just so tick-tacky. It was just, what can you do? Yeah, we've been asking for 60 minutes of hockey. We didn't really get it that night, but at least they had a push. It's just, unfortunately.
my bonus for the night.
Hey, Kat, what happened during the intermission?
So they were celebrating women in hockey. And I was there with our friends, and we did get asked to come and do one of the on ice games. Didn't know what it was, and then she explained it's kind of like musical chairs, but it's with the Stormy and the clouds on the plane, and it pops up and you have to run to it. So that was really fun. Like the anticipation for it, the working with the Storm crew, all of it was so fun. I will say that game looks it's so much harder on the ice than it is from what you see in the stands, because you can't really see the graphics on ice when you're standing there. Yeah. Quicker, like better than you in the stands. It's a lot better. I would have rather it actually had one of the like actual inflatable chairs, or like the matching game, the tic-tac-toe,
or the tricycle game where you kind of like
want to do the tricycle game so bad. But I really loved the experience. Working with the events crew was great. It was funny. I didn't win. Neither did my friend. She got out first, which kind of, honestly, I blame her for getting out first for my performance, because then I couldn't really rely on her. But it was fun. So a first time experience.
No signed jersey. Yeah, no signed jersey.
No signed jersey. No Diamond Direct gift card. None of those fun things. So,
but at least you got on the ice and did something cool. So I mean,
yeah, it was worth the experience.
Big shout out to the paid intern for videotaping for us to see that, because that was awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had told them they all had to stay in their seats, otherwise we would disown them. But so definitely I had memories from that game, and unfortunately, again, it's a 3-1 loss. Really felt like a 2-1 loss because the guys literally with the empty net, Ghost had some sliding saves. The guys all were defending.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Jarvie and Ghost were absolutely unreal. Like those are some great saves by those guys, but
yeah. So moving on though, we have Calgary, of course.
Oh, the penalties in that game, Cap, just we're gonna get this out of the way quick. An absolute atrocious, like 10 penalties, absolutely atrocious. There's no reason why it was just everything was getting called that night. It was unreal. But the thing that really stinks though, how can you have a 4-minute power play and not score on a double on a high sticking? Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was interesting. Love to see again. We talked about KK fighting. You get to see Svetch getting in there.
Oh, he was fired up.
He was defending Martinook big time. I love to see it from the guys. You can see they're like, I'm done. Like you say I'm not gonna fight. Like you can push me all you want. You hurt one of my guys. No.
Well, because the fact that Martinook was down and he got pushed again by whoever that was from Calgary, and Svetch was like, "Yeah, no, we ain't playing this game." And
Hanley.
Yeah, Hanley, and the fact that like he just threw absolute, a good fight. He was firing up the crowd too. So I mean, yeah, I think the Hurricanes are at the point where they're like, yeah, we're done playing, cute. We're gonna start just, throwing back on.
Oh yeah, Calgary. So. I said this to Kyle too. I was messaging our boss Kyle, who is a Calgary fan. I did message him and I said, your guys are playing. They're playing rough, and he was like, well, we did get shut out in our previous game, and I said, okay, makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, hey, and Nazem Kadri do Nazem Kadri things, gets an unsportsmanlike conduct, of course.
And he gets an unsportsmanlike conduct and then a power play goal.
Funny how that works. So like I said, the Hurricanes get that power play didn't work, then they get the 4-minute double. But power play didn't score. So I mean,
I gotta love Slavin and Blake were on. They were on fire. They were on fire this game.
No pun intended.
I love that Slavin. So Slavin has been one where he's just like, I'm not going to give up on the puck. Like other guys are concerned about other things. And he's like, I'm just going to keep playing until the ref says no. And it happened when we played Florida. It's happened here with Blake.
I will say, though, you got to give credit to Taylor Hall for throwing the hit on Kadri to get the puck loose for Jacob Slavin to pick it. So it wasn't for Taylor Hall. I don't know if the play even happens, but great play by him. Awesome job by Slavin to find Blake. And how about Blake, though? Being, for the fact that he's 21 and play with a really good high hockey IQ play where he's looking at the goal, looks at Slavin. You can see him going back and forth, kind of fooling the goalie, fooling the defenseman, and the fact that he put it right back on. Like, Jacob didn't even know that he was going to get the puck back from Blake. He thought he was going to shoot it, and luckily put his stick down.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to drive the net like I see all the other guys do. Maybe if he gets it back to me, but I want to be ready. And that's honestly, I love watching Blake play. Yes, does he make some mistakes because he's a rookie? Yeah, but most of the time, if you watch him, his passes are very smart, and his courage to drive the net is wild. Like it's so good for a rookie. It makes up for any other time where he makes a little mental error because it's like he's learning, but some of this stuff you don't learn, you just know, and he's got that.
Yeah, I would say this too, Kat, for Blake. I mean, he probably might not win the Calder, but I would say at least this put him on the Calder finalist group. So it might be celebrating Michkov, but if there's a third guy you want to add as a finalist for the NHL awards for the Calder Rookie of the Year, I think Jackson Blake should be that third guy to go up there with him to be like, hey, here's your finalist.
Yeah, I mean, there is Hudson too, so it's a big toss-up.
It's a toss-up. I would say you cannot deny Blake as one of those three guys that should be at least a finalist more than anything else because he's having a great year for this Hurricanes team, honestly.
So Slavin and Blake got the guys going during the game, and then we'd love to see it. But in overtime, after having a goal called back, which I don't think it should have been called back. The goalie didn't have control of it. But
that was a very quick whistle.
We get Slavin and Blake assisting Aho in the overtime goal as he ties the NHL record for most overtime goals in a single season with 5 and is one away from breaking the record. And we're not done yet.
and he is the only guy right now at 5 this season. So I mean, and I think he's also, I think since I forget what season, I think it was 16 or 17 or 17, 18. I forget what graphic it was the other night. But in terms of game-winning goals, he is the third highest in game-winning goals. Guess who he's behind? Draisaitl and McDavid. That's it. Those are the only two guys that are ahead of him in game-winning goals since like 16, 17, or 17, 18. Whenever they were doing that graphic. Third. Goes to show if you're looking for someone to be clutch, Sebastian Aho is that clutch guy. So,
yep, 100%, 100%.
But hey, great one though. You beat Calgary. Very winnable game. You should have won that. You did. Nice bounce back. So hey,
yeah. Right so path. you get the points there, and then we go into our last game against Detroit, which was honestly, even though the score was only 2-1. It was so. I mean,
Alex Lyon, man, good grief! Like that dude was standing on his skull and brain.
He was, but the Canes, I think the Canes, even though it was a 2-1, only 2-1,
they were 6-minute hockey. 6-minute
they were
hockey,
playing a full game. They were playing a full game. It was great to see. And I mean, I love it when the Jordans are getting on the board. It just feels like the world is returning to where it's supposed to be.
The world is healing on dad strength. On dad strength. And the fact that it was on dads and mentors trip night. Even better too, because they're all there. The stories from the guys, but yeah, just the fact that it's the dads scoring goals for Dad's Night. You love to see it. And like, what have we been asking for, Kat? 60 minutes of Hurricanes hockey, and we definitely got that. Rod loved it. He's like, yeah, even the score was 2-1. It should have been 4-1, but Alex Lyon was doing Alex Lyon things. But hey, you played a complete game. Yeah, Detroit scored, but you shut them down for the rest of the time. You had an opportunity to score an empty netter yourself, but hey, you played a complete game. That's all we ask for. We don't ask for much. Just give us 60 minutes of Hurricanes hockey. If you lose, hey, at least you tried.
And even though they didn't get on the board and they neither one got a star of the game, the two that had, like, everyone played very well. I would say the two for that game that I would say were standouts were Hall and Blake. 100%. Hall and Blake were all over that puck. They should have had some goals. I mean, Hall even had a penalty shot. Then I was like, he's been around in the league. He got this. And then they said his record was like 9 of 37. And I said, oh, no.
I'll tell you this, Kat, there's not a lot of guys who really have good high numbers like that. You're not going to think of Pavel Datsyuk or, Pavel Bure type numbers where they're going to be very high. But, I mean, Taylor Hall, I think he's out of all the guys – we're going to leave Mikko out of this because Mikko's on a different stratosphere. But you're talking about guys who've come in that have been, around his level, or maybe like a Ghost in the past or a Domi. Just like I said, guys are not on the Mikko level, but that next tier down. I think he's fitting with the team probably better than almost anyone. And I think just the fact
he's fit right in.
He's fit right in seamlessly. Yeah, should he have more points? Yeah, possibly. But things happen. But he's facilitating. He's doing the 200-foot game. He's doing the two-way. He fits in so well. And honestly, Kat, I would not be upset. 3x3 for Hall. Sign me up for that. I would love to keep him here. He wants it. He even said he wants to be here. Why would you not want that in a guy who's a former MVP, first overall pick? He wants to win. He wants to win a Stanley Cup, and he said he hopes to do it in Carolina. If he wants to be here, sign me up for a 3x3. Give him the Mortnook and Chatfield contracts. There you go. There's one of your top 9 guys who can do some leadership work. Done deal. I'm all for a Taylor Hall extension.
Fully agree. Sorry, I'm looking at our note.
Oh,
look at the notes from the paid intern. I
was like, wait, did I miss something?
No. But yeah, the Canes. So we bounce back. We're back on a winning streak. And who do we have coming up, Zach?
So we got the Boston Bruins on Thursday for the last game before the trade deadline. Of course, we're going to talk about all that nonsense. But they are 27-8, game above 500, 7th in the Atlantic. Hell, boy, yeah, they are in the wild card hunt, but they just got rid of Trent Frederick, got rid of Max Jones, all this other stuff. Brad Marchand's out with an injury. Charlie McAvoy's still out. David Pasternak's pretty much the only dude right now. I will say I do like Morgan Geeky, but that's a whole personal thing for me. But, this is our second time we're playing these guys out of the 3. The last time we faced them, Kat, well, how about Halloween night, 8-2? So I'm curious to see who they're going to throw in net. It could be Corpusalo, but I would say most likely it could be Swayman. And since the Hurricanes did play Anderson, don't be surprised if we see Kochetkov.
This is a very different Bruins team than what we've seen in the past.
Like I said, they've gotten rid of some dudes, and there's guys
Lots
out.
of injuries. And I will say before we start on this, like you said, with Anderson just playing, we might see Piotr. I want to say with all of the past games that we just talked about with Anderson and Kochetkov played stellar. I mean, in it, they only gave up 2 to Buffalo, 1 to Calgary, 1 to Detroit, technically 2 to Edmonton. But our goalies have been on top of it. They've been, it's honestly, if there's ever a big breakdown, it's been our defense not focusing. But then once you have the defense focusing, look at these low scoring games again and less work and less shots on goal for our goalies.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, Freddie was a .960 save percentage against Detroit. You love to see it. I mean, you're carrying momentum. You won back-to-back games. Both of them are very winnable. This is also a very winnable game against a team who's very much struggling. Like I said, they're in the middle of a fire sale right now. Like I said, they got rid of Frederick. You know, they might be looking to remove some other guys as well off the roster. Who really knows? I mean, they're bringing guys up from the AHL, the Providence Bruins. They've, Georgi Mikolov came up. They have all these other guys. So, are they going to, McAvoy's out, Marchand's out. So you got to rely on Lorai, Geeky, Zaka, and Pastrnak. Like Pasternak's pretty much only one of the top dudes right now that could even do anything for Boston. So, like I said, depends on who they have in goal. I could see Swayman. So this is where it's another very winnable game.
Expected, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very winnable game. Yeah, while their record is that, I mean, it's still Boston in a sense, but yeah, this is definitely
and it's at home. That home helps the Canes. Home always helps the Canes.
Hey, last time I played them was at home too. So there you go. You beat them 8-2 at home. You can do it again, and then you got them again. I think it's in April. So this is a very winnable game. I think you should definitely win this one because then you are taking a 3-game winning streak into the deadline on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boston is currently fighting for a wild card spot. Guys, can we wrap our mind around the year that we thought the Canes would take a step back and the Canes were, it's going to be interesting what we see with playoffs. This year, the Canes are still in a spot, but teams that we have seen before and, probably a lot of people thought would still is you have Boston and you have Rangers both fighting for wild card spots.
Rangers are now currently wild card too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
crazy.
Please, Columbus. Please just make it in. I would love for this. They deserve to get in. They're playing great hockey. Big shout out to them for the Stadium Series. Second largest crowd, and I think they had the highest regular season numbers in forever in terms of TV. But awesome for them. But yes, it's crazy thing that Boston's right now fighting for a spot. The Rangers are fighting for a spot. The Penguins again I don't think the Penguins are going to do it, but it's the whole wild card is absolutely bonkers right now of who's in and who's out.
For a team that's not looking at a wild card spot.
Because
they've secured themselves so far in advance is Winnipeg. And we will be seeing them next on Sunday. Which I really hope the crowd gets more into it. I'm sorry. The last Sunday game, I mean, I know we were coming off a loss to Edmonton, and I know it's a 5:00 game on a Sunday, and there's a lot of kids, but we need the energy, guys. We need the energy. The energy was...
Yeah, I'm just hoping we played Winnipeg a lot better than we did last time because that was
that too
rough. That was a rough game in Winnipeg, and
but we'll be home and hopefully be coming off another win.
I think we are 24 wins at home, or are we 23? I can't remember which one it was, but the home record's good. You're feeling pretty good about yourselves. Like I said, you got Boston. You win that one. You carry that momentum into the Sunday game. Hopefully, be at Winnipeg. Maybe you keep you go 4 in a row. You have a nice little 4-game win streak because why not? 23-7-1. Thank you, paid intern. So yeah, if you beat Boston, that's 24. If you beat Winnipeg, hey, that's 25. You'll love to see it. 4-game win streak. India 20. You have 25 wins at home. Why not keep solidifying?
We need a big win streak after the big loss streak. We just need it.
Yeah, I'm not asking for 8 or 9, but can we get 4 wins, maybe then a loss, and 5 wins and a loss, and maybe 3 and a loss? Can we just Can we string a little bit more of instead of just 1 or 2, like get 3 to 5 wins? That's all we're asking for. A little run, not a huge one. Just give us some, little 4s and 5s. We'll take those. Because why not? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, Winnipeg right now. We talked about who might win the Presidents. I still think it's Winnipeg. They are just unreal right now. So, but Pat, who is the third game that we're going to be doing a quick preview
on? Sorry, before we get to that, Ovechkin, the recent news I literally just got a notification, only 10 goals away.
Oh, he scored again?
Only 10 goals away. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, yeah, I guess he's going to do it this year because everyone thought he wasn't going to do it, and looks like he's going to do it. Just not against us, please. I do not want to be a part of that Jeopardy question.
Also, yes, you said the Jets would be the
President's Trophy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most points. I mean, I will say they're only 2 points above the Capitals, and
it's still a possibility, but I still think they're going to do it. But hey, I could be wrong. I will say though, real quick with the Capitals, Kat. I don't know if you saw them. Yeah, it's real close. I don't know about the Capitals, but have you seen their cherry blossom jerseys that dropped?
Yeah, you shared it to me.
They are kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. They are pretty clean. Can't go wrong with some cherry blossoms, but
they've had other cherry blossom ones.
Yeah, true. I know.
I like the other cherry blossom ones more, but these ones are not bad.
They're not bad. I would say the best cherry blossom jerseys I've ever seen used in Washington is the Nationals when they did their City Connects. Mm-hmm. Those were pretty clean. But I digress. So
anyway, the next game is a team that our lovely paid intern loves to see coming. Is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Really, I should say he loves to see Gitzel coming because he loves to chirp him.
Or as Ray from Storm Cellar calls them, the Temper Bay Lightnings, because they like to just tamper with a lot of things.
Yeah. Who have also had a recent trade of their own is they've got some of their previous players back.
Yeah, they picked up Yanni Gord and Bjorkstrand from Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so nice little swap or do there. I think there's a lot of. I think they sent like 2 firsts and a second or something. Their next first round pick is until 2028. Tampa's like, draft picks. Screw them draft picks. We're gonna go get these guys, essentially. Yeah. So that's gonna be when you're talking about a 36-21-4 Tampa team who's third in the Atlantic. And they just upgrade with a couple guys. Ooh, boy, yeah. Tampa's going to be that just changed the complexion of this game a little
Tampa's
bit.
Always annoying to play against, but it'll be interesting. I mean, we got to keep in mind too, the game time is changed. It pushed back to 7:30, which honestly don't really mind that much. It actually makes getting to the game easier.
At least it's not 8 o'clock. At least it's not a random 8 o'clock on an East Coast game. I don't know why those 8 o'clock games are so weird, but 7:30, it's 30 extra minutes.
That's a lot with the traffic here. That accounts for a lot, Zach.
Sure. I get there super early, so it doesn't really matter to me, I guess.
Well, for regular fans, Zach, who work before they come up to the game.
I work too. I work down here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but when you come for the games, you're not working right before it. You're driving up the day.
Well, very true, but
yeah,
I'm not there as a fan though, so
that's also different. So shush, you shouldn't even be chiming into what I'm saying.
I can do whatever I want on this podcast.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. The Lightning is always interesting for us to play. Mm-hmm. They know our system really well. They do have really good players. It depends how Vasi is feeling. If he feels like he wants to be number 1 goalie in the league again, all of a sudden.
He always, for some reason, it's always against us. So yeah, most likely that's just how it goes. So I know we didn't predict last time. Are we going to predict this time, Kat? Or are we keep?
I don't want to.
It's like should we?
I want all wins at home. That's what I want. I want us to honestly. I don't even want what I want to predict, and what I want to put into the atmosphere. I want the defense to play like they played in Detroit. I want them to play an all-around game. I've decided I really like it when Burns like holds someone at the boards or like ties up the puck at the boards and then someone comes in and clears it. I think that's a great strategy instead of him tying up and then him trying to clear it. I feel like it should be a 2-person team at this point, but that might be wishful thinking.
Hey, there's optimism, but stop being so optimistic.
Daily appreciation to Chatfield, because when Orlov misses something, that man skates the end of the ice and beats the player going down
on real wheels,
on real speed. And when our goalies trust him to do that, it typically works out in our favor.
Can we just shout out Jacob Slavin again, just because? I mean,
he had a great game against Detroit. Like overall, he was nonstop great plays. Nonstop.
I mean, that's why he's the best defensive defenseman in the entire NHL, and I mean, they should be getting a lot more awards, but that's a different conversation for another time. But I mean, you just got to appreciate Jacob Slavin for who he is.
Overall, what I predict and what I want is I want the Canes to keep playing Canes hockey. I feel like we're slowly getting back into it with the Jordans doing the work. They're doing the smothering plays that they're known for and getting those greasy goals. The power play, yes, some of the last power plays we haven't had goals, but it's looked better. They've moved the puck. They're getting zone entries. It's getting better.
We're not stagnant. We're not standing around. We're not, we're not lollygagging around the
I'm seeing improvement. The Detroit game gave me so much hope that we're getting back to where we know, and then the guys like Rantanen and Hall will just keep fitting in. Yeah. So that is my prediction. I want the Canes to play Canes hockey. They're at home. They're getting back into their groove. Guys are healthy. Play Canes hockey, and we will do well.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially when, I mean, the teams around it, like the closest team to you just had unfortunately a loss of one of their star players. Take it and run. Like, you have the wild card teams, but take it and run. Like, you don't have, like, you're in a good spot. Get going before playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a time to get hot, the second
month of March.
Yeah, the last full month of a regular season. Yeah, because April's short. It's like half a month, and we got the playoffs. You're talking the last full month of games. March is the right time to deal with goaltending and scoring and figuring stuff out. And yeah, at this point, I don't even worry about the division. Just distance yourself for the second spot, then you get home ice advantage for the first round. Use that as your advantage, and there you go. I don't care if it's against the Devils. I don't care if it's against the Jackets. Just please not the Rangers. Jackets or Devils, I'm fine with it. But either way, take the second spot, lock it up. And just go into it healthy, figure stuff out that you need to figure out, and go from there. And then just enjoy playoff Mikko Rantanen in a Hurricanes jersey and not anywhere else. I'm not going to take it from anyone else saying otherwise.
And with that, Zach, where can they find the network and where can they find you?
Well, let's talk about our amazing network first, Kat, because, I mean, obviously, they're just so amazing. I mean, we've been with them for 2 years now. Big shout out to Dylan and Kyle for bringing us on, and it's always a fun time. Kyle, it's always a fun time, though. I mean, they got live streams going on for all these games. They'll do a lot of great recaps, just a lot of amazing stuff. So make sure to check them out at the hockeypodcastnetwork.com. Obviously, we're there, but if you have a second team or a third team, they might have a podcast for them, because we have a show for every team. That's what's so great about the network. I mean, heck, even Terry Ryan from Shoresy's got a podcast as well. And Kat, they're in production for season 5 already for Shoresy. So more amazingness on that side of things. Yeah, so make sure to check them out. And like I said, for DraftKings, all that good stuff, THPN for your code. Use it. Help support us. Help support the network, because why not help the guys that help us? So do it. THPN. For me, well, I'm at OneTrueZach on X. I'm also at the Zachary Martin on Blue Sky. I got link trees in both my bios where you can check out all my articles where I write and all the podcasts that I'm on. So yeah, pretty simple, straightforward. It's not hard to find. I got links everywhere to find all my content that I do covering hockey and everything else. Kat, where can people find you? Where can people find you? And of course, this podcast.
Yeah, so if you're looking for this podcast, hi, that's what you're listening to right now.
Hello.
Look for us on all of the socials, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube at the Surgecast. Like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell, all of the fun things.
Mhm.
Our
Share it.
wonderful
Share.
yeah, our wonderful paid intern loves to post things on there. Give him engagement, talk to him about the team. We love to see it. And then also, if you for some reason miss a game or want to know some news updates and you want a very short and succinct and fun little recap of whatever's going on, we've got a great thing going over on TikTok at the.surgecast. Give us a follow. Tell us what you're thinking about the hockey and what the boys are doing. But yeah, there's all the fun things. Like, follow, share, all of those great things. And then if you're gonna follow me, I am on X, Twitter, whatever you call it, at Caniac Chick, and then on TikTok at KVT Hunter 74. Obviously showing a little extra love to Shorzy over there recently. But
as you should, because it's an amazing show. I'm glad you finally got onto that.
Listen, I had to finish Letterkenny, okay?
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Hey, pitter patter, let's get at her. But I am proud of you though. You're setting the tone. You're finally figuring it out. But real quick though, Cap, guy, shout out the paid intern. He is absolutely killing it, loving the engagement, loving the videos, graphics, everything. Like I said, guys, make sure to give the paid intern a lot of love. So if you are in the comments or if you're on socials, make sure to hit hashtag thanks paid intern. Show him some love. Show him some love.
For a guy that didn't even like hockey this much like a year or so ago. Wild.
Hey, Kat, I guess you found the good one to be like, hey, you know what? Why not go all in?
Listen, when you show them a fun team like the Hurricanes, especially when they're on a good winning streak, it's good to get people on board. But
there you go.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us for this episode, guys. It's great to be winning again. I need the Canes to keep playing Canes hockey. Let's not get back to these weird losing games where you're like, who is that team on the ice? Because trust me, I'm yelling at the TV just like you are. But I can't wait to be yelling for the boys the next couple of home games. Hope to see some of you there. But that's it for this episode of the Surgecast. We'll see you next time. Let's go, Canes.
Bye, guys.